Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy RB3 here for First Cut, and I'm back reviewing all the 2022 and 2023 Oscar nominees. And so far, we've done 5. We've done Tar, we've done Avatar, we've done Top Gun Maverick, we've done The Fabelmans, and we've done Everything Everywhere All at Once. And right now we're getting down to brass tacks. Yes, we're getting down to Elvis, one of the most popular movies in this Best Picture race. It's nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Austin Butler, costume design, production design, editing, makeup, you name it. It's nominated in a lot of categories. Now, keeping it real with y'all, I dodged this movie for a few months when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters. I caught it on HBO Max when it came out, and I wasn't excited to see it. I'll tell y'all why. When you are black and you have black grandparents who grew up in the South, you're not going to be excited to see an Elvis movie, right? Because most likely your grandparents might have told you a few of the stories or put you onto some of the knowledge of the black musicians that Elvis ripped off and he stole music from. So I wasn't really the most excited to support that. And on top of that, at the job that I was working at the time, it was like vigorous, intense conversations about Elvis, right? Especially with me being one of only 2 black people in the office after this movie came out. I was really like the only one, but where they want to argue about Elvis every day, I'm like, I really don't want to be a part of this conversation. I'm just not going to see it. And on top of that, when you see clips like he's white, pop up on Twitter, it's just not exciting. Like, this is just not a movie that I'm personally interested in. Especially, this came out right after Top Gun was like a hit in theaters. Yeah, this was not my mojo. This is not my time to go rah-rah for a movie that I just didn't have any enthusiasm about. So after her recommendation, I sat down, got an HBO Max, set up on my 85-inch 4K TV in the living room, high quality sound, make sure I was watching it the right way. So not exactly in theaters, but as close as I could possibly get to make sure I was getting the full experience. And what I will say is, while this movie was not fully my cup of tea, while there were scenes that definitely made me cringe out of my mind, it definitely was not bad. It was a good, well-crafted movie. But having a good, well-crafted movie isn't a big surprise coming from a director like Baz Luhrmann, who I'm personally a big fan of. I mean, we're talking Romeo and Juliet. We're talking Moulin Rouge. We're talking The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jay-Z as executive producer. Now, I in high school, I was reading The Great Gatsby at the same time that the movie came out. So it was like one of them perfect lineup movie moments in my life. And man, I love that movie through and through. I love all of Baz Luhrmann's filmography. Even his first film, Strictly Ballroom, actually low-key inspired one of my short film concepts early in film school. Also in college, I wrote a paper about The Get Down, the forgotten Netflix show that Baz Luhrmann's created. Needless to say, I am a huge fan of this guy. So the Elvis combination is oddly kind of fitting. I mean, Elvis is a over-the-top figure, larger-than-life figure, ripping off music, ripping off popular music, something that Baz Luhrmann is also a big fan of, and Elvis was too. So the combination made sense. And when you see the stylistic choices that Baz makes, especially in the first half of the movie, that high energy, high octane editing, which we saw a little bit done in Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm comparing this to Bohemian Rhapsody because that's the other high grossing Best Picture nominee. That's almost the direct comparison, right? But when you look at those 2 movies next to each other, it's not even close. What's better, right? Elvis is clearly the better movie. And what uniquely distinguishes Bohemian Rhapsody from Elvis is the editing, especially in the first half. A lot of the first half is high energy, really well done. And again, Austin Butler kind of sells you on it. I mean, I didn't really know that much of his filmography before going in as a fellow Butler. So I got to show love to the Butlers out there, right? I didn't really know that much about him going in. I saw him, walking around for like 3 months doing that stupid accent. After Elvis came out, I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? But then I also read that allegedly Denzel vouched for Austin Butler to get the part in this movie. So allegedly Denzel Washington called Baz Luhrmann and was like, yo, get Austin Butler in this movie. He's good. So yeah, shout out Denzel, man, putting Chadwick on the map, putting Austin Butler on the map. If you need another Butler, Denzel, Call your boy up. I'm free. And as I mentioned earlier, it's nominated for the Academy Award for Best Costumes. And apparently they used over 9,000 pieces throughout this entire movie. I'm not usually one to pay attention to costumes all that much, but I do think that was a big standout. And I did notice it a little bit when I watched. Now, those were the positives. I'm trying to keep it nice and light for the Elvis fans out there. But here are my gripes. I wasn't the biggest fan of the second half of this movie. Obviously, the pacing slows down, which is normal for biopics because the first half is usually the exciting part, the rise to fame. Then you kind of have to slowly crawl towards the fall and the descent. I felt like they rushed through certain aspects, but spent extensive amount of times on other things. I feel like they spent way too much time with Tom Hanks playing the Colonel. He was as great as Austin Butler was. Tom Hanks was actually awful. You never ever say that about a Tom Hanks performance, but this was an actually bad performance. And it's weird when he has a year where he's putting out movies like Pinocchio and all these other weird side pieces or whatever, but this wasn't a good performance. It hindered the film. And the more that he was the focal point of the second half, it made the film seem a little bit more ridiculous, a lot more cheesy. And it also weirdly paints Elvis in like this victim complex, which I know is the movie's point, but again, I'm looking at Elvis like he stole from mad black people throughout his entire life. Who's the real victim here, right? Are we gonna talk about all the brothers and sisters at the Lansky Brothers bar that he was partying with? Which, by the way, again, this movie just they just breeze through the stuff that people find controversial is just to super serve Elvis, right? Like they just show Elvis taking a quick photo with like all these musicians that he like ripped off over the years and act like that's the end of it. Act like, oh, everything's cool. He didn't rip off nobody. Everything's good. Like, nah, things aren't good. I don't think Count Basie or BB King were really all that enthusiastic about Elvis, ripping off their sound, ripping off their vibe, their aesthetic, their music, their culture, being a culture vulture. In fact, there's literally a whole scene where Elvis ends segregation by gyrating his hips, by dancing at the school. I'm not even kidding. Go watch it. So pairing those feelings with, Colonel is really the bad guy here. He's really the one taking advantage of Elvis. No, Elvis took advantage of the black community, and they don't really acknowledge that. He also took advantage of an underage girl, because if you research and Google what age did Elvis and Priscilla meet, Priscilla was like 14, 15, bro. She was like 14, 15. He was like 25. That's weird. They didn't even talk about it. Like they had one little line in one of the songs that kind of like, the age difference. But they don't ever regard like the fact that she was an actual teenage girl when she married Elvis Presley. Again, all things that like are unglamorous to Elvis. I get why you don't want to put in the movie, but it's not like Elvis is alive. It's not like we're like protecting his legacy. He's gone. Like you saw how we all saw Straight Outta Compton. You know how slanderous that dang movie was to Eazy-E, boy. Like, you think Eazy-E was really that bad of a rapper where he had to go in the studio and be like, "Girl, you're not straight and my chick's fault"? No, he wasn't. If he was alive, he would have fought Dr. Dre and Ice Cube for putting that in that movie like that. But he's not alive. But the ones who are alive, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, they look beautiful in that movie. They look like angels. They ain't touch on no Dr. Dre assault charges. They didn't touch on no, I don't think Ice Cube's really done anything that bad, but they didn't touch on anything like negative that these guys did over the years. They made the F the Police song seem like it came from police brutality, when in reality, it was from them shooting paint guns out of their windows on the freeway. So I'm highlighting all this to say that biopics can choose to be authentic or not authentic, but this movie went out of its way to be like less authentic. It went more on the celebratory route. Why super celebrate Elvis when the man's not here anymore? And okay, I'm glad we're celebrating his legacy and celebrating, his fan base, but be real about it too. Get controversial, get nasty, like get to the meat and the bones of what this person actually was and what the consequences of his actions were. I'm just tired of movies ignoring that with famous people. Now, again, when I'm talking about purely the quality of the filmmaking, this movie is better than Bohemian Rhapsody. This movie is better than Rocket Man, which with Taron Egerton, you know, about Elton John. And I like Elton John more than I like Elvis Presley. I like who's old boy from Queen, Rami Malek, more than Elvis. But I don't think those movies. I mean, I like those. I like Rocket Man. I don't really like Bohemian, but I do think Elvis is a better executed movie out of all of those. So I can see some of the awards recognition. I could see the awards recognition for Austin Butler. And again, Baz Luhrmann's style and his precision, his attention to detail, and his rapid fire editing, and his ability to get through mass story and like, you know, a cradle to grave story in like 2.5 hours. That's a little bit impressive. And I think that's why this movie gets a lot more awards attention. And I could kind of see it. That being said, not fully my cup of tea. I really wouldn't go back and rewatch this. I haven't gone back and rewatched this since when it first came out on HBO Max. It was like, what? I don't know. But I haven't watched it since. I don't think I plan to. But all that being said, if you liked Elvis, let me know in the comments down below. I know people are going to think I'm a hater. They're going to say, RB3 hating on white people again. I don't care, because I'm just giving y'all my honest opinion, y'all. I'm telling y'all what's my cup of tea, what's not. The movies that I love this year out of the Best Picture nominees were Everything Everywhere, Avatar, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Women Talking gets up there, and Fabelmans. I enjoy Fabelmans too. But yeah, you know, this is my review for. I don't know how to end this, guys. I'm sorry. But I'm sorry. There's too many. I've had too many arguments with too many people about Elvis, and I just don't know what to say about this topic anymore. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got. Thank you for watching this long-winded review. Again, we are going to be reviewing all of the Best Picture 2023 movies. So, you know, there's 4 more left. There's All Quiet on the Western Front. There's, Women Talking, like I mentioned. There's Triangle of Sadness, and there's Banshees, which, I would love to get Sabrina on that one. So that's why I'm really, Sabrina's super busy. She stayed busy, but she loves that movie. It was in her top 10 of the year. I personally didn't like that movie, Banshees of Arabella, but she'll have a lot more of an insightful opinion on it. So I'm probably gonna try and wait for her for that. I'm talking too much. I've had a long night, y'all. Y'all know, y'all just don't know. But anyway, y'all, I'm RB3, peacing out. First Cut TMO. Follow us on First Cut TMO on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and subscribe to the Meaning of Podcast on all the podcast feeds, and subscribe to Real Talk Film Society for the new podcast I'm doing with my boy John Marin. All that being said, y'all, I'm RB3. Peace.
It's either me or you. It's either me or you. You do the math. Only one can remain.